In the heart of the bustling city of Ibadan stood the Grand Oladipo Estate, a sprawling mansion surrounded by lush gardens and high walls. The estate belonged to Chief Oladipo, a wealthy and influential man known for his generosity and his commitment to preserving the traditions of their Yoruba heritage. His family was well respected, and their home was a symbol of their status. Among the many staff members who worked at the estate was a young maid named Adunni. With her gentle demeanor and unwavering dedication, she quickly became a favorite among the household. She was known for her grace and hard work, always moving with a quiet efficiency that made her an indispensable part of the Oladipo household. Adunni had been with the family for as long as anyone could remember, yet no one knew much about her past. She had come to the estate under mysterious circumstances, with only a few details about her life before working for the Oladipos. Femi Oladipo, the only son of Chief Oladipo, was a young man of striking appearance. Handsome, intelligent, and kind-hearted, Femi had a charm that endeared him to everyone he met. He had recently returned from studying abroad and was now taking on more responsibilities in the family business. Despite his busy schedule, Femi often found himself drawn to the quiet and unassuming Adunni. There was something about her that captivated him, a gentleness and depth that intrigued him. Over time, Femi and Adunni began to spend more time together. Their conversations, initially casual, grew deeper and more personal. Femi found solace in Adunni's presence, and she, in turn, began to open up to him in ways she had never done before. The connection between them was undeniable, and their bond grew stronger with each passing day. They shared moments of laughter, stories, and dreams, finding in each other a refuge from the pressures of their respective lives. One evening, as the sun set over the estate and cast a warm glow across the gardens, Femi and Adunni found themselves alone on the veranda. The air was filled with the sweet scent of blooming flowers, and the gentle hum of crickets created a serene backdrop. Femi turned to Adunni with a serious expression. "Adunni, I need to tell you something. Over the past few months, I've realized that I have feelings for you, feelings that go beyond friendship." Adunni's heart skipped a beat. She had felt a similar affection for Femi, but she had always kept her emotions in check, knowing the boundaries that separated them. "Femi, I don't know what to say." Femi reached for her hand, his gaze steady. "You don't have to say anything right now. I just needed you to know how I feel. We've shared so much, and I want us to be more than just friends." Adunni's mind raced as she struggled to process Femi's confession. She knew that their love could never be accepted in their current roles, the wealthy son and the maid. But the depth of her feelings for Femi made her long for a future where their love could flourish. As they sat together, the world around them seemed to fade away. The connection they shared was powerful and profound, but it was also fraught with complications. The societal norms and expectations that separated them loomed large, casting a shadow over their budding romance. Little did they know that their love was about to face challenges far greater than they could imagine. The past, shrouded in mystery and secrecy, was about to resurface, threatening to unravel the delicate thread of their relationship and shake the foundations of the Oladipo family. As Femi and Adunni's relationship deepened, they were careful to keep their feelings hidden from the rest of the household. Their secret meetings and stolen glances became a cherished part of their lives, but they were acutely aware of the dangers that lay ahead. The more they tried to ignore the barriers between them, the more they found themselves drawn to each other. One day, while dusting the old family library, Adunni stumbled upon a dusty, leather-bound book that had been tucked away on a high shelf. Curiosity got the better of her, and she carefully removed it, brushing off the layers of dust that had accumulated over the years. As she opened the book, she found it to be a family ledger, a record of births, marriages, and important events in the Oladipo lineage. Her eyes scanned the pages, taking in the names and dates. One entry, in particular, caught her attention. It was a brief mention of a tragic event involving a baby who had gone missing. The details were sparse, but the mention of the baby's disappearance sent a chill down her spine. Adunni's mind raced with questions. Could this entry be connected to her own past? Her hands trembled as she carefully closed the book and returned it to its place. She knew she couldn't investigate further without drawing suspicion, but the entry had ignited a sense of unease in her. She felt as though she was on the brink of uncovering something important, something that might change everything. Meanwhile, Femi continued to navigate the complexities of his new role in the family business. His father, Chief Oladipo, had high expectations for him, and Femi was determined to meet them. Despite his busy schedule, he made time to be with Adunni, finding solace in their stolen moments together. One evening, Femi and Adunni took a walk through the estate's expansive gardens. The moonlight cast a gentle glow on the flowers and trees, creating a magical ambience. They spoke of their dreams and aspirations, their hopes for the future, and their fears about the obstacles they faced. "I've been thinking a lot about the future," Adunni confessed, her voice tinged with uncertainty. "Sometimes, it feels like our love is impossible, like there's a barrier between us that we can't overcome." Femi stopped and turned to her, taking her hands in his. "Adunni, I know that our love is unconventional, but I believe that we can find a way. We have to hold on to the hope that things can change." Adunni looked into his eyes, her heart aching with the weight of their situation. "But what if there's something in my past that makes it even more complicated? What if there are secrets that we don't know about?" Femi's expression grew serious. "What kind of secrets?" "I don't know," Adunni admitted, "but I found something in the family ledger that mentioned a missing baby. It was just a brief entry, but it made me wonder if there's more to my past than I realize." Femi's eyes widened in surprise. "A missing baby? That's troubling. Maybe we should look into it further. If there's a connection between your past and the Oladipo family, it could explain a lot." Adunni nodded, feeling a sense of determination. "We need to find out the truth, no matter how difficult it might be." As they walked back to the mansion, hand in hand, they knew that their quest for answers would lead them down a path filled with challenges and revelations. The secrets of the past were beginning to unravel, and their love would be tested in ways they could never have anticipated. Adunni and Femi decided to take their search for answers seriously. They began discreetly investigating the missing baby entry in the family ledger, trying to piece together the fragments of information they had. Their research led them to old family records, letters, and accounts of the tragic event that had taken place years ago. One afternoon, while sifting through old documents in the mansion's attic, Adunni came across a faded photograph. It depicted a young woman holding a baby, with a look of profound sadness in her eyes. The back of the photograph was inscribed with a name, Morankeji Oladipo. Adunni's heart raced as she realized the significance of the photograph. Morankeji was the name her parents had called her when she was growing up in the village. The discovery of this photograph suggested that there might be a deeper connection between her past and the Oladipo family than she had ever imagined. She brought the photograph to Femi, her hands trembling as she handed it to him. "Look at this. The name on the back is Morankeji Oladipo. It's the same name I was given when I was growing up." Femi studied the photograph carefully, his brow furrowing in concern. "This is significant. If this is a picture of the missing baby, then it means that there's a direct connection between you and the Oladipo family. But why was this photograph hidden away?" As they pondered the implications of the photograph, they received an unexpected visit from Chief Oladipo. He had noticed their recent interest in the family history and had come to speak with them. "Femi, Adunni," Chief Oladipo began, his voice somber, "I've heard that you've been looking into the family records. There are things about our past that are painful but important to understand." Adunni's heart raced as she faced the chief. "We've discovered something, a photograph of a baby named Morankeji Oladipo. It seems to be linked to the missing child mentioned in the ledger." Chief Oladipo's face paled, and he took a deep breath. "It's time you learned the truth. Many years ago, we experienced a great tragedy. My wife and I had a daughter, Morankeji, who was lost in a terrible accident. We never found her, and her disappearance left a void in our hearts." Adunni's eyes widened in shock. "You're saying that Morankeji was your daughter?" Adunni's voice trembled as the weight of the revelation began to settle in. Chief Oladipo nodded, his eyes misting with painful memories. "Yes, Morankeji was our first child. She was just a baby when she disappeared. It happened during a festival in the village where my wife, Yewanda, and I had taken her. There was a fire, a terrible chaos broke out, and in the confusion, she was lost. We searched for her for years, but it was as though she had vanished into thin air. Eventually, we were forced to accept the possibility that she might never be found." Adunni's heart pounded as she pieced together the fragments of her own memories, the name Morankeji, and the love and care she'd received from the woman she had known as her mother. "But I was raised by a woman in a village far from here. She called me Morankeji. She said she found me as a baby, alone." Chief Oladipo's eyes widened, a flicker of hope crossing his face. Could it be? Could you be our lost daughter? Femi, who had been listening in stunned silence, finally spoke, his voice choked with emotion. Adunni, this means, if it's true, you're my sister. The realization hit Adunni like a wave. The love she and Femi shared suddenly clouded by the revelation. She pulled away from Femi, her thoughts spinning in turmoil. No, this can't be happening. We're in love, Femi. How can this be? Femi's expression was torn between disbelief and sorrow. Adunni, we need to find out the truth. If you're truly Morankeji, then we've been living a lie. Chief Oladipo, still reeling from the possibility that his long-lost daughter had been with them all along, reached out to comfort them both. We must confirm this. We need to find the woman who raised you, Adunni. Perhaps she knows more about what happened that day. Adunni felt a surge of determination. She knew that the only way to make sense of the situation was to seek out the woman who had raised her. She needed answers, and she needed them now. The next day, Chief Oladipo, Femi, and Adunni set out on a journey to the village where Adunni had spent her early years. The village was nestled deep in the countryside, far from the hustle and bustle of the city. As they arrived, memories of her childhood flooded Adunni's mind, memories of a simple life filled with love, but also with an inexplicable sense of being different. They were directed to the modest home of Mama Oloke, the elderly woman who had taken in Adunni as a baby. When they arrived, Mama Oloke's eyes widened in surprise at seeing Adunni, but also in recognition when she saw Chief Oladipo. You have returned, Mama Oloke said softly, her voice tinged with both sadness and relief. I knew this day would come. Adunni, her heart heavy, stepped forward. Mama, please, I need to know the truth. Who am I? What happened to me as a baby? Mama Oloke sighed deeply and invited them inside her small, humble home. Finally, Mama Oloke began to speak, her voice trembling. They sat together in silence for a moment, the weight of the unspoken truth hanging in the air. Many years ago, during the festival, I was a witness to the tragedy that struck the Oladipo family. I was there when the fire broke out. In the chaos, I found a baby alone, crying out in the darkness. She was wearing a bracelet with the name Morankeji engraved on it. I knew she must belong to someone important, but there was no time to find her family amid the confusion and destruction. Tears welled up in Adunni's eyes as she listened. So you took me in? Yes, Mama Oloke continued. I took you in, raised you as my own, and named you after the bracelet you wore. I always knew you were meant for something greater, but I was afraid to return to the city. I feared that the truth would bring you more pain. Chief Oladipo's voice cracked with emotion. Why didn't you come to us? We searched for years. Mama Oloke's eyes filled with sorrow. I was a poor woman, Chief. I feared you would take her away and I would never see her again. But now, I see that the time has come for her to know the truth. The room fell silent as the gravity of the situation sank in. The truth had been uncovered, but it left them all with more questions than answers. Adunni's heart was torn between the love she felt for Femi and the truth of their shared bloodline. The revelation threatened to shatter the fragile peace they had found, and the path forward was uncertain. The journey back to the Oladipo estate was filled with a tense silence. Adunni, Femi, and Chief Oladipo were lost in their thoughts, each grappling with the implications of the truth they had uncovered. How would you feel if you found out the love of your life was actually your long-lost sibling? How will Femi and Adunni handle this truth? Find out in part 2. Make sure you don't miss it.